Well, I see that JJ's notification system is working fairly well. Hello, everybody. This is the Dark Conservatarian and my co-host JJ Skinner, aka the Crusader, and we are here with you with another Strike Force news. And I do not feel like donning the lesbian pea coat, which is why that I do not have my camera on. I just feel like making it a lazy day. And so, as this the title of this video, this live stream, kind of suggests, when does a human life begin? 17 time points. Now, this is kind of an article that was recommended by S-Man Speaks, and so I thought we would get into this. And to clarify, like our beliefs, I am pro-life, and JJ is like a moderate, if not centrist, pro-choicer himself.
Yep.
Yeah. And so without further ado, we shall take a look at the different 17 time points that is put out by this blogger. I rerun this. Oh, wait, this is an old article, October 3rd, 2013. Okay. Well, it was shared to S-Man by somebody within one of Secular Hawk's chat groups, but yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so I don't know if the person I know that Secular Hawk is pro-choice and pretty much a dick about his pro-choice beliefs on top of that. But I do not know of what the beliefs or whatever or intent might have been of the person who actually posted it. Because I don't think S-Man said that it was Hawk who posted this article in the chat group. But whatever. Despite whatever the motivation might have been for whoever sharing it, we shall take a look at this nonetheless. When does a human life begin? 17 time points. I rerun this most read post about when human life begins every time that the discussion resurges, which is usually in the shadow of proposed restrictions on women's reproductive rights. Okay, so I'm kind of getting the whole pro-choice kind of vibe with the writer of this article here, because that's typically of how that is framed for a lot of people, and I would say the pro-choice movement. Anyway, strong feelings always seem to trump biological facts. Yeah, perhaps I would say that kind of, to a certain extent, goes both ways. But I would argue that it's more on the, and I'm not putting you under this, JJ, but it's more or less a little bit more on the pro-choice side. This is not me trying to alienate anyone, but it's just my own observation. They'd be like pulling the whole my body, my choice, and, you know, using rape as like an emotional wedge for their arguments, stuff like that.
Yeah, one of those people.
And the pro-lifers, they might occasionally make an appeal to religion. It isn't technically like an appeal to emotion or anything. Like it ain't exactly. Well, actually, no. It is pretty much feeling based, unless you can like put forth solid physical evidence for your religion to try and back up, you know, to try and tie in the issue of abortion to religion. But I do not try to tie in the issue of abortion to religion, because that just gets us off into a big ass tangent. Red Feather says, hey, damn, that was a quick 30 minutes. 30 minutes of what, Red Feather? What did you just get off of? Anyway. Confusion among politicians appears to be apparent concerning when certain events begin or structures appear, whether to track development from fertilization, conception, or the last menstrual period, and even the distinction between an embryo and a fetus. A 4 or 6 week prenatal human is not a fetus. The difference is not arbitrary. It has biological meaning. Yeah, I mean, by definition, I actually never heard a fetus that is like, or I use the term fetus loosely, unborn baby, let me put it that way. I never heard the term anything like before 7 weeks, or even before 10 weeks, actually, be technically considered as a fetus, biologically speaking. But by definition, 10 weeks and afterwards, that's when that they are described as a fetus, by definition. LOL, probably just YouTube being slow, Red Feather says. I get a notification 4 minutes that you were on in 30 minutes. Oh, actually, no, I did schedule this live stream for 3 p.m. Central Standard Time originally, but I just thought, I I got nothing else better to do. Why not just start it early? And besides that, I also have some plans that just came up for later this evening. So I want to get this live stream way out of the way, so I have like some buffer room in between this stream and those evening plans. I'm the author of several college-level textbooks on human genetics, human anatomy, and physiology, and intro biology. I've been in this business for decades. Okay, let me see who this person's name is. Ricky Lewis, PhD. Okay, so this is a PhD guy, so he has some credibility in the argument. And women's reproductive rights. I do not know for certain if the guy is pro-choice, but that statement right there is kind of what hints me at it. But despite what slant I might think this guy has, the fact that he has a PhD kind of overrules what I think of his biases, his possible biases. Life science textbooks from traditional publishers don't explicitly state when life begins. Yes, because when life begins, that's more of a philosophical than a physiological question. Than more of a physical question. More of a, damn it, I'm fumbling over my own words. It's more of a philosophical question than it is a physiology question. Because that is a question not only of biology, but of philosophy. Yes, exactly. Politics, psychology, religion, technology, and emotions. Rather, textbooks list the characteristics of life, leaving interpretation to the reader. But I can see where the disingenuous idea comes from that textbooks define life as beginning at conception. Well, okay, yes, let's get that out of the way. Anything at conception, that's when that actual life begins. But I don't just flagrantly say that when life begins is when that the rights for that human individual start. It's when that we can have like, oh man, I'm trying to like frame my mind right here. It's when you get your actual human individuality. When we have evidence to see where your individuality is, that I say that your human rights begin, and that being like when brainwaves are detected, that kind of stuff. Any of you who've watched my channel for a while know what I feel on that subject. It requires a leap off the page. Consider a report from the Association of Pro-Life Physicians. After a 5-point list of life's characteristics from a scientific textbook, this group's analysis concludes with, according to this elementary definition of life, life begins at fertilization, when a sperm unites with an oocyte, if that's how you pronounce that. Being a biologist, a textbook author, and a mother, I've thought a great deal about the question of when a human life begins. So here are my selections of times at which a biologist might argue a human organism is alive. I'll save my opinion at the end. Red Feather says, I feel it is when the fetus can feel pain. Some theories say that is at 12 weeks, I believe. Yeah, I mean, the fact that they can like feel pain, that helps cement more their human individuality, I say. But wait a minute, Ricky Lewis. Okay, yeah, when I saw the name Ricky, I first thought that this was a dude that we were talking about, but oh well.
Wait, there's a woman named Ricky?
Yeah, Ricky Lewis, PhD. That's the writer of this article. I first thought that this was a dude as well.
Okay, I feel bad for that woman because her parents were probably high.
I don't know. It might be just a nickname for some, but anyway, to address your point, Red Feather, I think that when a fetus can feel pain, that helps give more evidence to cement their human individuality. But at the same time, the fact that a person can feel pain isn't the final point to determining human individuality. Like if a person literally cannot feel pain when they're a born individual, then their right to life isn't all of a sudden null and void, and therefore anyone can just kill them as they please. So there's my rebuttal to that. Coffee.
Ew.
Screw you, JJ.
No, I'm good.
Life is a continuum. Gametes, sperm, and oocyte link generations. 2. The germline, I think that's what it's pronounced. Germline, as oocytes and sperm form, their imprints, epigenetic changes from the parents' genomes are lifted. Okay. Oh, Ricky, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey, Ricky. Hey, Ricky.
Oh, wait, what?
Thank you, Red Feather. Red Feather was singing the Hey Ricky song.
Oh, God, I thought that song died years ago.
Actually, no. Hey Ricky, that's the parody that Weird Al did of Hey Nikki. Hey Nikki is the actual original song. Hey Ricky was the parody that Weird Al made based off that song.
Probably the best reference I get is the one where the guy yells Ricky and Ricky gets shot in the back.
What?
It was from a movie. I don't remember what it was called.
Was it by chance Blazing Saddles? I don't know. I don't know why I put out Blazing Saddles. I just like came across it on Netflix and I put it on my list so that I could like watch it at some later point. Maybe I'll like watch it late tonight or something. I don't know. Anyway, the fertilized ovum of the hundreds of sperm surviving the swim upstream to the oocyte, one jettisons its tail and nuzzles inside the much larger cell, which becomes an ovum, completing its own meiosis. A fertilized ovum equals conception.
Okay, I know the movie now. It's called Boys in the Hood.
Boys in the Hood?
Yep.
I see. 4. Pronuclei merge. Within 12 hours after fertilization, the packets of DNA from male and female, the pronuclei, approach, merge, and the intermingling chromosomes pair and part. As the first mitotic division looms, a new human genome forms. Following that first division, some genes from the new genome are accessed to make proteins, but maternal transcripts still dominate development. Wait, what? Okay, I saw the word cleavage right there, and I instantly thought boobs, but I think they might be.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think they might be referring to a different definition of cleavage, but that is weird. I never ever heard the term cleavage be referred to like the process of the development of an unborn baby. Anyway, 5. Cleavage. Divisions ensue. The cells of an 8-celled embryo, day 3, have not yet committed to becoming part of the embryo proper, one with layers, or the supportive membranes. Such a cell can still, on its own, develop. An 8-celled embryo whose cells are teased apart could lead to an octomom situation. I instantly thought of the porn star when I heard Octomom.
Oh my gosh, really? Damn it, Zach.
I mean, she really was a porn star, wasn't she? I mean, that's what I heard, was that she originally was a porn star, and then she got referred to popularly as Octomom because she gave birth to 8 kids.
How is that even possible?
I don't know. Some women are just more durable, I guess. Anyway, 6. Day 5. The new genome takes over as maternal transcripts are depleted. The inner cell mass, ICM, separates from the hollow ball of cells and takes up residence on the interior surface. It will become the embryo proper, distinguishing itself from the remaining part of the ball fated to become the extra embryonic membranes. The ICM is what all the fuss about human embryonic stem HES cells is about. The stem cells aren't the ICM cells, but are cultured from them. This is quite interesting. So, I mean, this isn't really anything that makes my own case for when I think that human individuality starts, but it's still interesting information to know, like, knowing more information, just expanding your mind a bit. And Red Feather says in the chat, wait, didn't she take fertility medication and was on welfare? I know that she was on welfare, and I think it was some kind of fertility experimental drug or something that she took that helped her get 8 babies total inside her uterus. 7, end of the first week. The embryo implants into uterine lining. 8, day 16. The gastral tissue layers form. First the ectoderm and the endoderm, and then the sandwich filling. Sandwich. Just using some words that I don't typically apply to, the birth, the forming process of babies.
Birth.
The mesoderm, each layer gives rise to specific body parts. 9, day 14. The primitive streak forms. Classically, the first sign of a nervous system, and when some nations set the deadline for no longer using human embryos in experiments. 10.
Wait,
day,
what?
Yeah, I guess, okay. Let's read that again. Day 14, the primitive streak forms. Classically, the first sign of a nervous system. And when some nations set the deadline for no longer using human embryos in experiments.
Wait, using human embryos as experiments?
Yeah, I guess like very early stages is when they use them for science experiments or something, use them for experimental drugs or something. I don't know. I mean, this is probably like when it was probably before this time right here, before day 14, that Octomom had took those experimental drugs or something. I don't know. Although it says the first sign of a nervous system. Okay, yes. I will say that the nervous system is detected at a fairly early stage of the development process, but at the same time, it isn't fully developed to the point where fetuses can feel pain in the same way that you or I can, JJ, for example.
Yep.
Of what I've heard from like other sources, anyways. Okay, I'm going to expand my browser here just a little bit. All right. All right. Red Feather says, yeah, that's part of how Planned Parenthood makes a profit. They experiment off of embryos, like for what experiments, Red Feather? Would you know by any chance? Day 18, the heart beats. Oh, hey there, Aspie.
Hey, what's going on?
What up?
Yeah.
What up? I guess I will put this article, the article that you recommended, up a little bit further in the order of the articles. Now that you are actually here.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
And actually, I think I'll give you back the link to this article just so that maybe you can read it yourself when we actually get around to it. Just like the good old days of when on your streams we would be reading stupid articles from Feminist Frequency,
Feminist, yeah, not Feminist Frequency. I think it was Everyday Feminism.
Everyday. Oh no, yeah, Everyday Feminism. My bad.
Yeah.
11, day 28. The notochord. By the way, in case you're wondering, Aspie, we are reading about when does a human life begin? 17 time points. This is primarily talking about the science behind it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's primarily talking about the science behind it, just presenting the scientific facts, and then it's letting the reader come up with their own conclusions, I think is what is basically going on here. But anyway.
Interesting.
11, day 28. The notochord closes, and within it, the neural tube forms. Preliminary to the spinal cord, while the bulge at the top will come to house the brain. If the tube doesn't close completely, a neural tube defect, anencephaly, spina bifida, and a few others results. I probably butchered the pronunciation of those, but anyway. And Red Feather, what'd you say, JJ?
It is spina bifida.
Okay. And Red Feather says that she is not sure of what exactly Planned Parenthood does with the embryo experiments. But, okay. Was just curious. Did not know for certain if you did know. 12. End of week 8. Okay, so this is like more around the time of when that I think that human individuality is found. Like about week 6.5, primitive brain waves are formed. And week 8, you probably have some definite human brain waves going on there. So the embryo becomes a fetus. All structures present in rudimentary form. Attention, anti-choice advocates. Before this, the prenatal human is not a fetus. Okay, we get it. I never claimed that. And I don't know of many pro-lifers who have claimed that. Just saying. Sorry, just it seemed a little bit condescending with that last sentence there. And
Yeah, I kind of.
Anti-choice advocates. No, I like to think of myself pro-choice as in I would like to give the fetus a choice in the matter, but yet they don't want to give any choice at all.
What the fetus talks to you and says, "I don't want to be born."
You don't want to be born? Well, then at that point, I say that if the child is like fully born and whatnot, and if they are like, I don't want to be born, I never wanted to be born, or whatever, then I believe that suicide is a person's own personal right. I mean, that's me getting into dark territory there, but that's the libertarian side of me. And Cult of Ham joins us in the chat. Says, human life starts whenever the hell they get a job and pull themselves up by their bootstraps. So in Cult of Ham's, oh, God. What's the word I'm trying to look for? In Cult of Ham's criteria, it's when you become like a fully grown adult and are employed.
Okay, so I can still be aborted? Shit.
Redfeather says babies don't know anything. How can you get their consent for anything? That's another issue, Redfeather. Sorry, Espy. What?
I was gonna say I remember a joke by Christopher Titus where he says there should be a 22-year abortion window. Make it 22 so that you can make sure the kid can handle his alcohol, but like he gets drunk one day and he punches grandma and it's just like, you were so close. We're gonna miss you.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I do remember watching that skit for myself. Redfeather says, do you believe in asking for consent to change a diaper? No, I do not, Redfeather. I mean,
no. Heck no.
I think she was talking to me, but no, of course not. That's retarded.
Oh, fuck. Cult of Ham is getting Groody in the chat. Babies only have the right to be he's getting pretty gorish. Babies only have the right to be jump kicked into a blender to make my smoothie. Wow.
That's edgy. That's edgy.
I remember watching the beginning of an abortion debate stream that Hi I Think I'm Real hosted on his channel. And at the beginning, it was nothing but edgy jokes from him and the first person that he was having on the stream, where they were all like, I think baby parts are best served when sauteed or something like that. And honestly, at the moment, I could not handle it. But, you know, you get kind of more conditioned.
Sauteed baby actually sounds delicious.
What?
Sauteed baby actually does sound delicious.
What
oh my God.
Fuck? What the fuck?
We're so going to hell.
Yes. And Cult of Ham, we're taking you with us. Cult of Ham quotes Gorish, and Redfeather asks, ew, you're a cannibal? More like boorish. Boorish. Okay. So, 13, week 14 or thereabouts, quickening, quote unquote, the flutter a woman feels in her abdomen that will progress to squirms and kicks from within. All right. I mean, you get later and later on in the stage of the development process that their human individuality becomes more and more cemented. I mean, okay, this is getting into philosophical territory. I would argue that true, pure human individuality doesn't begin until you become like 18, like a full-grown adult, because you're still under the stewardship of your parents, basically, when you're like under the age of 18, or at least here in the United States anyways. And brain development technically doesn't even stop until about 25. So technically, by that logic, maybe somebody could say that none of us in this stream have pure human individuality or something. I don't know.
Bullshit.
But yeah, but still, legally speaking, we're all adults here. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I am myself am definitely moved out of my parents' house. So I think
I'll be moving out next year, so
this is not to demean you two guys as human individuality, but no. Actually, I'll say it's when you become a legal adult. That's what I'll say. That
when you can be fucking.
Yeah, when your human individuality is fully cemented and fully recognized. Poldefam says my Ruby says RWBY, and I instantly think of the anime series with the way that he's spelling Ruby here. My Ruby is a coat hanger that transforms into a DeLorean so I can travel back in time and abort my enemies. Well, then how come I still remember meeting a guy named Humane Mind, Cult of Ham? Red Feather says, well, I'm way older than you guys, so haha.
Wait, what?
I got a question, Red Feather. Are you a mother yourself? She says, I win. Yeah. And Colt of Ham is like a month or two younger than me, so that means that he is he's also lost to you, Red Feather. Anyway, 15, birth. Okay. Oh, wait. Okay, so I think I might have accidentally skipped 14.
Yes, Red Feather is a mother.
Cool, Red Feather. Nice to hear. 14, week 21. A fetus has a very slim chance of becoming a premature baby if delivered. Yeah, this is about when I hear that people say that a fetus could survive outside the womb, but they would be on a whole lot of other medical equipment before they can, like, just be released full custody to their mothers without any medical equipment. You know, I have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old. What? I would say, oh, what beautiful children, but I've not seen them physically. Anyway, says 15, puberty, or no, 15, birth. And 16, puberty. Excuse me. 16, puberty. The Darwinian definition of what matters on a population and species level when reproduction becomes possible. 17, acceptance into medical school. Acceptance into... Wait, what?
Wait, what?
I don't get that. Like, not every human individual is going to be, like, looking to become a doctor or anything like that. So I do not know what you get by that. I don't know where this came from. A joke about Jewish mothers. Oh, okay. I see. So the person who actually wrote this article is not saying that that is a legitimate, that is not a legitimate time frame necessarily, but still is mentioning it more for the joke, or I don't know. Acceptance into medical school. I don't know where this came from, a joke about Jewish mothers, but in some circles, it might now apply to acceptance in preschool. But when one's grown offspring leave home. All right. So I will, okay. Cult of Fam says, human life starts at conception as long as they're white and not Jew or ginger. Oh, God, Ham.
Dang.
Taking a bit of the Richard Nixon approach to the issue. Marion and Cappa-Kitty is in the chat. Hello, Marianne. Says hello, is late. Just got off work. That's okay. And Redfeather says, we are the whitest. Some of us anyways. JJ.
Fuck you.
Yeah, JJ is 8th red, so that tells you that. Anyway, so according to Ricky Lewis, the person who wrote this article, she is saying that her answer is number 14. A fetus has a very slim chance of becoming a premature baby if delivered. Now, of course, this is where I disagree with her on, but this is where I can, like, respectfully disagree with her on. Cold Fam says Richard Spencer, you mean? Either Richard Spencer or Richard Nixon, because Richard Nixon was for abortion for, like, mixed race babies. That was what I was trying to like refer to.
Wow.
So yeah, Richard Spencer would kind of fall under that category, even more so than Richard Nixon, I would say. But still, Richard Nixon is still kind of a big-time racist piece of shit, and not just pro-choice, but pro-abortion on the issue as well. Marion and Cap, what?
Where'd you read that?
Where did I read that? I think one article was from like the Telegraph. Another article was from NPR. I mean, it's a fairly generally known piece of information that there was like quotes from him saying that his personal exception of where he would even encourage abortion is like when you have a mixed race baby.
Are you sure that wasn't like a joke or something, or did he say that in a serious way?
I'm pretty sure it wasn't a joke. I mean, none of the articles was like specifying that it was a joke or not. Not NPR or Telegraph.
It was the NPR and Telegraph.
Well, NPR, you know, is like the center-left, considered fairly credible news source here in the United States, and Telegraph is actually a news source in the UK, or from the UK, that even Humane Mind considers credible. I mean, I know of no bad reputation of the Telegraph, honestly, so I would consider them fairly credible as well. I'll have to like actually look back and find the articles that goes talking about that. Marion and Cat Kitty says, "Hey, how are you guys doing?" I'm doing well, and Cat Kitty, on this fine Sunday and rather chilly Sunday afternoon because it's snowing outside in Wichita. Cultifam says, "Offer all the orphans as human test subjects for the horrible and cruel experiments we wouldn't even do to rats and mice." And Marianne says, about Richard Spencer, he thinks Karl Marx is an all-right guy. Yeah. He isn't exactly the most right-leaning when it comes to economics. Anyway, so again, back with the article, this is where I can like respectfully disagree with the writer of the article, but still. My answer, number 14. The ability to survive outside the body of another sets a practical, technological limit on defining when a sustainable human life begins. That limit may, of course, change. Having a functional genome, tissue layers, a notochord, a beating heart, none of these matter if the organism cannot survive where humans survive. And to that I say, it's not really, that seems to be like a bad metric because a person is like reliant on somebody else's resources to stay alive. In this case, the fetus is like reliant on the mother's own, you know, natural bodily systems to survive. That they are no less viable for the right to life, in my opinion, than an old guy who's like on a pacer and all the other equipment to like keep them alive. They have a weak heart, weak lungs, and so they need some equipment to help sustain them. You know.
Yep.
Anyway. Technology has taken us to the ends of the prenatal spectrum, yet not provided too much for the middle, other than fetal surgeries for a handful of conditions. We can collect and select gametes. Now, thanks to patent number 8543339, we collect and select very early embryos in pre-implantation genetic diagnosis, allowing those without a specific disease to continue development. And although the gestational age at which a premature infant can survive has crept younger, it hasn't by much. Not since I started thinking about these things back when I was a stage 16. Wait, what? That's
stage 6. What?
Okay. Or no, I think she's explaining it to herself that I think she's basically saying, not since I was still in puberty. Anyway, at first I thought she was saying not since I was a stage 16, as in I believe that stage 16 was when a human life begins. But it took me a second look to actually see what that was there. Until an artificial uterus becomes a reality, technology defines for me when a human life begins. End of article. And you know, that would actually be something that would help like lift off the burden of this big abortion debate is if there was a way to like make artificial uteruses for like women who do not want their children and do not even want to give birth to their children. They can just like put it inside the artificial uterus or whatever. But this is like getting into sci-fi territory that I'm speaking of. Cold of Amp says, I love the clip where Dave Pacman challenges Dick Spencer to denounce Hitler, who proceeds to deflect, obfuscate, and then challenge Pacman to denounce Mao and Stalin, which he does immediately. Interesting. Well, I don't think Richard Spencer fully disbelieves in everything that Hitler believes. Like, okay, I do believe that Richard Spencer is a racist, but I don't think he, unlike Hitler, what the
Holy fuck?
Sorry, I was blowing my nose. I forgot to
mute yourself, Aspie, damn it. Anyway.
Seriously.
But anyway, as I was saying, Richard Spencer, I will fully say, is a racist, but I don't think even he, unlike Hitler, was wanting to go out of his way to actually kill people of the Jewish race or whatever. It's just shut up, Aspie. I don't need your imitation fapping noises on my stream. Hitler is Spencer's senpai. Maybe. Red Feather says they are experimenting with keeping fetuses alive in sheep wombs. Sheep wombs? Ugh. I can only imagine that would kind of fuck up the whole processes of things just in the same way. I mean, I do not know this for certain, but I can only imagine that it would fuck up the fetus just as much as a mother drinking while they're pregnant. Like, what the fuck?
It makes it. They just come out the womb and they just go. Duh!
Oh no! Oh
and
no!
They're just mentally retarded.
Red Feather says real fapping noises or get the fuck out.
Wait, what?
No, I do not need to hear Aspie beating his meats to reading porn statistics. And Sleepy Projection says the baby would come out looking like Shrek. Oh god. Okay.
I mean, that makes sense.
Anyway,
that's funny.
CNSnews.com report. Independent abortion clinics in the U.S. are closing at an unprecedented rate. This by Emily Ward. And I think Emily Ward is actually a professional, a scientific professional on the issue of pregnant mothers. I mean, I would actually have to find the article, but there was some article where she was trying to explain where fetuses do feel pain at a much earlier time than what people generally know. Anyway. Okay, I'm hearing like water running and a fan running in the background of your audio, Aspie. Oh man. Thank you for muting yourself. That was freaking obnoxious. Sorry. Whenever you want to add your 2 cents, Aspie, just go ahead and unmute yourself. But if there's like stuff going on in the background there, I would rather it not clutter up my stream. Anyway, a report released earlier this month by the Pro-Choice Abortion Care Network, ACN, found that independent abortion clinics in the United States are closing at an unprecedented rate. Red Feather asks, is he in a dishwasher? Might as well be. Jeez. The report, communities need clinics, independent abortion care providers, and the future of abortion access in the United States. States that independent clinics are closing at an unprecedented rate. The number of independent clinics has been reduced by nearly 28% since 2012. Okay, and of course, you all know that, you all should know that I find this to be fairly positive news, but yeah, I mean, I'm not going to like rub it in anyone's faces necessarily, but I'm just going to state my opinion that I think that that's positive news. Cold Vamp says, with overpopulation and ever-increasing problem, why should we force children to grow up as orphans, unloved, and totally at the mercy of our foster system? Well, here's the thing. I mean, okay. I know some personal cases of full-grown adults who said that as a child they were completely unloved. Like one of them had actually grown up in the foster system and has grown up to be I would say, a fair stand, an outstanding citizen. I would say he's not a criminal. Like he hasn't committed any felonies, much less any dangerous or violent crimes or anything like that. With the foster system, I say let the child determine for him or herself how they are going to like live out their life rather than us just determine for them. No, we know what's best for you. We're not going to give you the chance to or letting the mother say, I'm not going to give you the chance to try and overcome your trivials. Just I'm going to have you aborted. Anyway, I mean, that's what do you think, JJ?
Ultimately, it's up to the mother's choice. I'm sorry, but it's just like it's up to them. I have no right to tell someone whether they can have an abortion or not.
You're not for late terms, are you? Allowing late terms, I mean?
I believe the cutoff date should be like between 4 or 5 months.
Okay. But after that, you would say that the woman's right to life overrules bodily autonomy.
Here's the thing.
The baby's right to life after 5 months. Yeah, that's when I have to say no.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. After about the whole abortion argument. Oh, you don't. What if that baby grows up unwanted, an orphan, or I mean, you don't know what that child's going to become when he grows up. There's some kids who are raised up in really good families, real good homes that become monsters, and there's some people who grow up in the foster system who become really good people. So on that note, you cannot truly tell what a child is going to be. And you could try to moralize it by saying, oh, that kid's going to have a bad life. Well, millions of kids around the world have a bad life. How does that make that kid any different? And here's the second thing. If you're about this whole thing around female autonomy, I see that as like a stupid argument. I mean, it's my body. It's not your body, okay? It's a body within your body. It's a separate entity. Okay. I know it's attached. You might think it's attached to, you might think because it's a part of you because it's attached, but it's still not. It is still a separate life inside your system. You're not, just because you don't like the idea, just because it's attached to you doesn't make it a separate entity. It is a separate entity, and you don't get to kill something because it's attached to you. That's it. Okay, that's all I want to say.
Okay, I will get to addressing your other points, Cold of Ham, but Red Feathers says, what if Jeffrey Dahmer had been aborted? I think that we all
life would have been much better.
I think that we all wish that Jeffrey Dahmer, Hitler, Stalin, and all the other mass murderers of the world were aborted, like at this point, now that we know what their actions actually led to. But here's the thing. I don't believe in arguing off of rhetoricals on an issue. Like, I don't believe in arguing, oh, this unborn fetus will become the next Bill Gates or the next Steve Jobs or next great inventor of our time. So therefore, we must preserve them and make sure that they are born
I don't think
and
that's
survive.
The argument. I think it's a question of the unknown. You do not know what that child's going to become. Everybody says Jeffrey Dahmer. Oh, what if that what would you have aborted? We should have aborted Hitler. We should have aborted Jeffrey Dahmer. But take yourself back to that timeline. If you were a person, you did not know what Hitler was going to become. You did not know what Jeffrey Dahmer was going to become. It was just another baby that was going to be born. Would you have excuse me, coughing fit? I don't know why those happen. But you back in those times, you probably would be saying, yes, let that baby live, because you do not know what that baby's going to be outside of the womb. Nobody knows that a child's going to become a Jeffrey Dahmer. Nobody knows that whether a child's going to become a drug addict or some great entrepreneur. All they know is that that's a life, and I think it deserves a fair chance along with all the other children.
Right. Hello there, Loudmouth.
Hello, Loudmouth. we're discussing abortion, but don't worry, the next article will be hilarious.
Okay. Like I was trying to like get to my point. I don't believe that we should like be preserved. I don't believe in arguing off of rhetoricals. I don't think that we should like be making sure that a fetus is born and kept alive off of the plausibility that they might become the next Bill Gates. Just in the same way, I don't think we should like just let in and give amnesty to millions upon millions of illegal immigrants just because one of them might plausibly become the next Bill Gates or Steve Jobs or whatever have you if we were to let them in. And, okay, I wanted to address this. Finally getting to your question, Cold of Ham. Would you support a better welfare system to pay for the kids then? Now that I do find to be the lesser evil than actively allowing them to be killed by another human being. But at the same time, there is a bit of a difference between allowing somebody to die, like everybody is just hands off with a human life and they just allow them to die. I mean, it's shitty, but that is still nowhere near as immoral as a person actively hands-on killing a life. Was this another case of the right creating a problem and refusing any measures to solve or mitigate that problem? Like I said, I said this in my War Corps debate that I would rather welfare go up than abortions go up. That's not very libertarian for me to say, I know, but it's still like moral. That's me prioritizing what I find to be like the better, what I find to be the worst immorality.
Well, for what would be better would be improving. It would be improving a society's sexual constraint, the ability not to sleep around like a bunch of animals. Because if you don't, the best thing to do is I wouldn't be against birth control. I'm all for birth control and things along those lines. If you want, and plus you can probably walk off to any clinic and get it for free. About in questions to Ham's question about would I support a better welfare system? I don't think anybody here is against a social safety net. But if you look, I would actually rather not the government handle this as much, because if you look at the where all the money goes that is in the government, it mostly goes to the bureaucrats. A large percentage of the money that is given to government through taxes and is supposed to be distributed out through welfare is actually taken by the bureaucrats. And if you think that you can just change the system and fix that problem, you're wrong.
Part, though, about people who say, well, if you don't like abortions, then why are you not paying for birth control? I'm like, condoms are extremely cheap, and they are available everywhere. Every single gas station sells them. Right. Every single department store sells them for
Trojan
less than
man.
$1 each. Okay, only way. Hell, in most bathrooms at random places, there'll be a dispensary where they give out condoms. Schools give them out.
Do not get condoms from those dispensaries.
Okay, yeah, I don't think that condoms necessarily is something that has to be government funded.
Right, that's the thing. I mean, the only way to make condoms more plentiful than they are now would be to make them rain from the sky. Okay, they are plentiful now. People need to use them. It takes some goddamn responsibility.
Okay, so Cold of Am says something further up here. Yes, women gave that right to terminate a pregnancy. It's their body. Human life is ultimately not that valuable in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, and that's wait. Let me address this. He says human life is ultimately not that valuable in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, and that's why that you are totally for a single-payer healthcare system, Ham.
Burn! Burn! Yes, but
thank you. Thank you very much.
Nihilistic attitude towards it, I guess you could say that, because
I mean, if we want to be completely utter, if I wanted to be a complete and utter nihilist, I would be pro-choice and maybe even outright pro-abort, but I would also be all against single-payer and just complete and utter anarchy. But the fact that you said human life is ultimately not that valuable in the grand scheme of things, that just seems a little ironic there, Ham, on your part, considering the fact that it's because of the value of human life as to why that you support a single-payer healthcare system. When you keep on mentioning of how many people die from supposed lack of health insurance, which might very well be true, but I just say supposed because, you know, I just mainly given the benefit of the doubt. But anyway,
yeah, the best way to the single payer healthcare system, we can afford our meds, not like there are going to be any new ones in the future because you stifled all innovation. Nobody's going to be able to create new good meds because your government just takes all your revenue. So
I wonder why most medical advances seem to happen in the United States.
Yeah,
I support single payer healthcare because I value the lives of people right now. But you just earlier said that human life in the grand scheme of things is not that valuable. I mean, what happened there, man?
What the fuck? What the fuck, Ashley?
Yeah, you ended up fucking yourself in the ass, and I guess no. That joke went too far. Never mind.
Anyway, Sleepy Projection says they're a good mix of libertarian and conservative. Yes, that is why I'm called the dark conservatarian. The right proves human life has no value with their constant warmongering, race baiting, or battling. I do not know what he meant to spell right there, and refusal to pay for social welfare. Now,
wait, did Ham actually criticize the right for race baiting?
I don't know. I mean,
holy shit!
He spelled
that is ironic.
We need to bring Owen McDonald on this stream right now.
Okay, so race batting, Batting is how he spelled it. So I do not know whether he meant to spell battling or baiting. You didn't read what I said. I said value human life, not that human life is ultimately valuable. What?
Wait, what?
I don't know.
Oh my god, I love him.
I don't know. I think he might be just trying to recover from his own fumble there.
I don't know. Hey, are you drunk, man? Come on.
Anyway, he says, if you want abortions to go down, educate women, fund sex ed classes, and fund family building programs. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. Do all of those if you want. Both the abstinence sex classes and the safe sex classes. Teach them both. I mean, people on more of the left when it comes to sex say abstinence doesn't work, but I say teach that along with the safe sex. I mean,
why don't we just go full progressive and just start handing dildos out at school?
Oh god, no!
Oh my god!
I'm joking. I'm joking.
I see absolutely no need for that.
I'm joking. That was a terrible joke.
That's your homophobia, Zach.
Right. I need to kick myself in the ass.
It's just as bad as giving out pocket pussies to boys when they turn 13.
Ugh.
Okay, Coldivam says, by the way, here's fucking funniest thing about abortions. Most abortions are within the first trimester. Yeah, I never heard anything. I never really heard anything beyond that, Ham. But whatever, second trimester, and I only agree with allowing the first half of a first trimester of abortions because I cannot really make the legal case for them being human. It's after 9 weeks is what I say personally. I mean, that's still within the first trimester, or at least a portion of it anyways. So Red Feather says LMAO, Ham. Okay, so not having sex gets people pregnant. I think that's supposed to be reference to Humane Minds gaffe on that abortion stream. I don't know.
Oh shit.
Coldivam says y'all need to learn some philosophy. Me personally, valuing human life and life having value ultimately are two different things. What? Having value. Me personally valuing human life and life having value ultimately. Wait, isn't there? What? I mean, I would think that it's because you think that life has an ultimate value to it. Why that you value human life? What? That seems almost an ironic statement right there. Anyway,
rain on your wedding day.
I would think that it's because a person thinks that human has ultimate value to it, or ultimately has value to it, why they value human life. I don't get it. Abstinence is trusting horny kids to not have sex. Yeah. I mean, I believe in like teaching. What?
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say the N-word.
Cult of Ham says, "Prove my point, Dark Econ." The fuck? No.
Let's finish this article.
Cult of Ham, would you care to elaborate? Never mind. Yeah, let's just go on this article. I'll let them debate it out in the chat or something. I don't know, because Ham, he's just making ironic statements. The ACN found that as of November 2018, 370 independent clinics remain open, down from 510 in 2012. When the ACN first began tracking clinic closures, this year, 11 independent clinics have closed so far. In addition, 6 states only have 1 abortion clinic: Kentucky, Mississippi, North Dakota, South Dakota, West Virginia, and Missouri. Among these, 4 are independent clinics: Kentucky, Mississippi, North Dakota, and West Virginia. According to the ACN, independent abortion clinics collectively provide the majority of abortion care in the United States. Independent clinics perform about 60% of abortions nationwide, even though only about 25% of all abortion facilities in the United States are independent clinics. So a good portion of them, what? Okay, I do not know if there's like any other organizations other than Planned Parenthood that would own them, but that's almost what I'm getting there, but I don't want to be so assumptuous. In other words, independent clinics serve 3 out of every 5 women who have abortions. For comparison, Planned Parenthood clinics perform 35% of abortions in the United States, while hospitals perform 4% and physicians' offices only perform 1%. Yeah, I think that hospitals perform 4%. I think that might be the minority of life of mother cases or something like that. I don't know. I mean, that's why, oh, God. And we got, oh, man. Got a grueling site right there.
Ugh.
I'm sorry. I'm going to try to, like, avoid that as that scene for as long as I can.
But, yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah,
it is.
And independent clinics play a large role in providing abortions to women who are past their first trimester of pregnancy. Okay. What was I reading? I thought S-Man had joined the chat there for a second there.
My internet cut out.
I see. Independent clinics play a large role in providing abortions to women who are past their first trimester of pregnancy. Who are past their first trimester of pregnancy. Well, then, yeah, I would be all more for this. I find this to be even better news then. Just when you add in that little piece of information right there. During the first 10 weeks of pregnancy, women can have a medication abortion, which is the only type of abortion that many U.S. facilities provide, according to the ACN. After the first 10 weeks, surgical or in-clinic abortion becomes the only option. Independent clinics make up 67% of clinics that provide surgical abortion and 66% of clinics that offer abortion after the first trimester. So there's your percentage of how many are performed after the first trimester, Ham. The ACN argued that without independent abortion clinics, women seeking abortions after the first trimester would likely have no options at all. When clinics provide medication abortion only, rather than providing both medication and in-clinic care, the overall landscape of abortion access in a given state or region is more vulnerable, the organization continued. The mission of the ACN is to ensure access to abortion by supporting independent abortion providers and to end harassment and shift abortion stigma. The organization's poster series, Celebrate Abortion Care, seeks to capture the essence of excellent abortion care by shining a bright light on the spaces where patients are cared for in independent clinics across the country. The ACN collects data each year on every abortion clinic in the United States that makes abortion care services publicly available or otherwise discloses that they provide abortion care and publishes the data in its yearly report. It contacts each clinic for operational status and information on the scope of services provided. All right. End of article. And yeah, I mean, I don't care if whether this was in the first trimester or second trimester or whatever. That is disgusting to me, and I don't think should be allowed. Just
what is it? This one chick on Twitter the other day when I was saying that more people should just use condoms, and I was talking about how foolish it was, how few people use them, and then get surprised they become pregnant. She's like, "Oh, because you men just love using them." And I said to her, "You know, if you're dating men who refuse to use condoms, you probably just have really bad taste in men. Don't blame me for that."
Yeah.
Darky Khan, when you're too uneducated to even know you don't know your ass from a hole in the ground. Fuck you, Ham. I have read up plenty on abortion as we are right now. You're just contradicting yourself in your statements. So you go fuck yourself on education. Redfeather says, yes, it does always depend. That's why blanket statements aren't good arguing points. By the way, the primary argument, Cultifam says, by the way, the primary argument I use for single payer is that it's cheaper and better than the private healthcare in every conceivable way for ordinary people. How many times now has he mentioned that one study that says so-and-so amount of people die from lack of health care or health insurance or whatever? How many times is that as opposed to the cost of abortion or the cost of health care? It's probably nearing about a dozen times that he's mentioned it in all the streams that he's been in. Red Feather also says, also, it doesn't seem like it would be healthy for a woman to have an abortion. I would actually have to see a specific citation on that, but I generally hear that, although it might just be a hyperbolic statement or something.
The vacuum ones can damage the ovary walls, not the ovary, what is it called again? Uterus? The uterus wall. Yeah.
Cult of Ham says, haven't mentioned it in this chat. Yeah, but you have mentioned it plenty of times before, Ham. That's my point. And the reason why you're not mentioning it in this chat is so that you could, like, never mind. I'm not even going to argue.
Yeah, have you guys heard about this whole thought tax thing that's been going on? I think it's one of the funniest stories I've heard in a long time.
Thought tax? Are you talking about thought as in thinking or thought as in that hoe over there?
That hoe over there. They're calling it basically supposedly certain female internet females on the internet who were showing their bodies for money were caught not paying their taxes or something. It's pretty damn
thought
funny.
Audit.
Yes, the thought audit. Do you hear that?
Yeah, the thought on that is pretty funny.
Come on.
One of the funniest stories I've heard in a long time.
Come on. We shouldn't be punishing these women for being sexy. We should punish them for being trashy. No, I'm joking.
We should punish them for being thoughts.
It would be patriarchal oppression to suggest that women have to pay their taxes. Sorry.
Very true.
This story seems like it's right for making lots and lots of jokes. So let's keep going on that one.
And Cold of Ham is throwing red herrings in the chat as he goes mentioning up religion to tie in this issue.
Oh God Almighty!
Pun intended. So anyway, getting on to the funner stories. The big OM leaked sex tape shows. Well, actually, no. Aspie, you want to pull up this article on your computer or something? Because I said I would give you the chance to read it.
Oh no, I can actually read it from here.
Really, guys? Is this news?
Yes, this is news. This is
news. This is news. Like, there's nothing more important happening in the world.
I just thought it was funny.
Oh,
God. I mean, I guess I could just move on to YouTube copyright law. Well, actually, let's see if
Which is actually a million times more important.
Oh God, what the fuck?
No!
Okay, Aspie, why? Why do you want us to read this?
Down, you asshole.
Okay, no, fuck this shit. We'll read that on Strike Force or something. You're such an ass.
Come on!
Such an ass, Espy. You know that?
Yeah. No, look, Aspie, that is not going to get you back in Nick and its good graces. I swear to God.
True.
I don't care about that fucker. He's left
I know,
YouTube
but
now.
I'm making a joke. I know.
Ham, you had already mentioned a certain verse talking about abortion in the Bible, and it was weak. It was unconvincing. Like you said, what, like a rotten leg or something? Man, now thinking back on that first debate that we had, I think that even a primitive person back then would be able to tell a mangled up, aborted baby different from a leg. So I'm not fully convinced that the one verse that you mentioned in that first debate is actually an abortion taking place or whatever else have you. As far as God being anti-life, like I'll just give the benefit of the doubt on that. But does that really affect my own personal beliefs on abortion? No, it does not. In cases of adultery or rape. Adultery, that's what that verse mainly refers to that you talked about. Rape, I have not heard that yet. Anyway, YouTube says EU copyright rules could see people banned from uploading videos and poses threat to way site works. So this is kind of an expanding of the new copyright law that was offered up earlier this year. Darky Khan disagrees with God. He's sinful. Okay, there's like plenty of like prophets within the Bible who have spoken out to think that God was going overboard, etc. I mean, Moses did it plenty of times.
The God of the Bible,
like I don't
emotionally unstable. Basically,
I mean, I don't get what your point is with that statement there.
He's like a toddler with an anthill.
I mean, you go talking about people disagreeing with God, therefore they're just automatically sinful. I mean, God did not strike down Moses whenever he questioned him or spoke up, thinking that he was going too harsh or whatever else.
I am very happy to be an atheist right now.
Right.
Of course you would be.
So YouTube says that new EU copyright rules could force it to ban people from uploading their own videos. It says that the new directive puts its entire creative community at risk and that the new rules could drastically change the internet that you see today. The comments from YouTube boss Susan Wojcicki are just one part of widespread outrage about the new rules, which campaigners have referred to as the meme ban. One of the most controversial part of the EU's new copyright directive, known as Article 13, will force major platforms like YouTube to scan through everything uploaded to them and ensure that nothing in it includes copyrighted content. Campaigners argue that that could force companies to ban memes that use pictures or GIFs from existing media and that it could damage the way that social networks operate. So that means that if I lived in Europe, I would not be able to use the Big Lebowski meme anymore.
Yeah, it basically bans fair use. Fair use is totally dead under this bill.
Ham, do you even know what triggered means? Me responding to your arguments is being triggered? You're fucking idiot.
You are.
He's being triggered that I pointed out the irony of how he says that human life is ultimately... well, okay, this is me like paraphrasing him. How he said earlier that human life is ultimately worthless, whatever he said, and then me pointing out his logic for why he's, or part of his logic for why he's a single payer, for a single payer. Anyway.
Irony.
The way that social networks operate. Opposition to the rules has united copyright campaigners in the major internet platforms, which have argued that I'm trying to see where I left off last. I think it was this paragraph right here. Opposition to the rules has united copyright campaigners and the major internet platforms, which have argued that it could undermine the very way the internet works. Now YouTube has spoken out in perhaps the most passionate comments from the tech industry yet. The company said that YouTube could be forced to stop allowing normal users to upload videos, instead concentrating them in the hands of a small number of big companies. Viewers in the EU could be blocked from viewing some videos, and small creators could be ruined, the company said.
Yep, my videos will be blocked in Europe. All my movie reviews.
Yeah, so there goes your European audience. And I'll have to
not that I had much.
not that you had much.
I feel sorry for Irate Bear, Sargon of Akkad.
I cannot feel bad for Sargon of Akkad.
What did Sargon do anyway?
He accused Mr. Medicare of being a child groomer.
A child groomer?
You shouldn't be
like
white knighting for Medicare. I mean, I don't think he's a child groomer, but even though I like some of his content, I'm telling you, he's
a dick.
He's not really a nice guy.
He's not a good person.
I'm not white knighting for Mr. Medicare necessarily. I mean, don't get me wrong. I barely care for the guy, but to be calling him baselessly a child groomer, that just destroys Sargon's credibility all the more. It doesn't necessarily prop up a Medicare in my eyes, but it really puts down Sargon in my eyes.
I see. He was definitely that whole feud that's still going on every day on Twitter. I see something new in that feud. I try to stay out of it.
He didn't mean in a sexual manner. He meant Medicare grooms kids to be trolls. What?
That is supposedly what he said he meant.
That isn't what child grooming typically means, though, is it?
Right, no. But that was the foolish thing Sargon did there. He was watering down words, basically.
So he was being an idiot as he was like misusing terminology.
Yes, that's exactly what he was doing.
But it's still his fault for using the
Cultifam says he seemed pretty triggered, though not as bad as when Metal Mister was triggered when I refused to denounce the GOP effigy. Well, not as badly triggered as you were when everybody kept on muting you that one stream with Blue and Jay Will and Chair and the rest of them, Ham.
Yeah, like, you screamed like a child, dude. Seriously.
Dark Khan, what was you going to say about me? Oh, no, I was just going to say that you said, what's up, Scrubs, Trainer. That's all I said. How are you doing, Trainer? Anyway, getting on with the news. Miss Wojcicki, however you pronounce it,
Wojcicki,
wrote that Article 13 threatens to shut down the ability of millions of people, from creators like you to everyday users, to upload content to platforms like YouTube. Excuse me. In a letter written to the site's community of video creators, it threatens to block users in the EU from viewing content that is already live on the channels of creators everywhere, she wrote. I just thought of something. 1 second. I'm going to give you a wrench, Loudmouth. You said something earlier here in the chat, and I want to find you again so I could
Yeah, I made a joke about the Bible's provision against ham.
Where was that exactly? Should be right around. Yeah. Okay. There you are. Found you. Add moderator. There we go. Oh, that's when he screamed nigger a lot, right? Yes, Sleepy. That is what I'm referring to. Yep. Trainer says, I'm doing okay. That's good to hear, Tom. And Cultivam says, Sleepy said the word, she's racist. Well, actually, Sleepy Projections is a dude, but I wouldn't blame you for mistaking that, Ham, because that is a pretty effeminate profile picture that you have, Sleepy. I'm not going to lie.
Hey, at first, I thought it was a girl as well, so don't feel too bad.
Hey, Dark Conservatarian, try not to go over the nigga limit.
The nigga limit.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I forgot why I heard that. I forgot where I heard that. Oh yeah, DL Hughley said that during during that one guy said that word 100 different times, not 100, a certain 7 times on a radio broadcast, and he said he went over the nigga limit. That was kind of funny. Yeah, all right. But anyway,
the new rules also threatened hundreds of thousands.
Unlist this stream, please.
What?
Yeah, this stream has to be unlisted. It's gone pretty far out there.
We did not. Hey, we didn't omit any personal information, though, did we?
I don't think so. No, we didn't.
Well, but anyway, the whole gay orgy thing, that's probably not.
Well, it's not like everything was blurred out. I mean, like, okay.
Oh my god, dude! I cannot believe you brought that on the screen. What the fuck, dude?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
There's some, yeah, dude. You're fucking sick, man.
Yeah, Zach, you probably had to take this down for a little bit and then blur that shit out.
Oh, and we have S-Man Speaks finally joining us. What's up, S?
Unmute yourself.
Shut the fuck up. I had to readjust something. Anyway, I'm decent. Just seeing how Ham was getting all the tism was strong with Ham in the fucking chat. So what are you?
Sleepy Projection says that he loves being misgendered. Oddly enough.
Jesus Christ. So officially, we all know that Sleepy Projections has a weird fucking kink. So now the left is going to be wondering if we criticize Sleepy Projections, is that kink shaming? Twitter thinking emoji. But yeah, so what are you degenerates looking at now in this article? What's this article? Oh, it's on the YouTube EU bullshit?
Yeah, about that.
Oh God, Ham's going to suggest us what is it called? An Internet Bill of Rights. That bullshit.
we were about to read an article about a gay Buddhist monk taking part in a large orgy.
Fuck you, ass. Fuck you.
Shut up.
What the fuck?
Seriously, fuck you.
Okay, Red Feather says something funny in the chat.
JJ's the Buddhist.
She says, LOL, off topic, but did you guys hear Andy Worski recently say, at least I don't have a cock? What the fuck?
Wait, what?
How high was he?
Seriously, what the fuck?
He smokes weed, by the way.
He must have been high and drunk at the same time. Like, holy crap.
Yeah,
I remember a time I had Dark Con on one of my streams when he was fucking plastered. Oh my God, it was hilarious. He's all drunk as a motherfucker.
That's embarrassing. I would never get drunk on
it. It was Dark Con on one stream, and then Vanguard was drunk in an off-air hangout. Oh my God!
Oh, wait, you're talking about the one time that I was playing Overwatch?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the drunk playing Overwatch. Yeah,
the dark drunkitarian.
By the way, check out my secondary channel, Dark Con Entertainment. I have some new video game footage on there for you guys' entertainment.
Nah, I'm good.
I'll probably check it out, and I'll probably make some funny comments.
Zach, how many times do I have to tell you I'm not interested? Dang.
Screw you with Ham's dick. How about that?
What dick?
Oh God. Yeah, Ham has admitted he has a micro penis.
Andy, bring my 9 to the employment. Okay, Cult of Ham says, Andy, bring my 9 to the unemployment line, Worski. What the fuck?
Hey, there's like 1,000 people watching his drugged up streams every day. So
wow, yeah. Anyway,
smoke weed every day.
Weed is pretty good.
You got to admire what he's done for himself. The guy can just get high, go on an incoherent rant, and still get like thousands of people watching him.
Oh yeah.
Also, Ham, your Internet Bill of Rights can go fuck itself. With the Internet Bill of Rights is so retarded, not even JF would fuck it.
Oh!
Thug life. There's a whole lot of good thug life and roasting moments in this stream.
Very true.
This stream is just about as good as the one and only stream that Sir Conservatarian showed up on.
Yeah, one of my favorite streams is when Bering was like repudiating Hawk by just saying, "Stop being such a fucking faggot" in that Australian voice.
Yeah, that
loved
was
it.
funny. Yeah, because Hawk was in the stream basically whining about a video that was like months old, and I was in that one, Bering, and we were all just laughing at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, the new rule also threatens hundreds of thousands of jobs, she said. The The proposal could force platforms like YouTube to allow only content from a small number of large companies, she wrote. It would be too risky for platforms to host content from smaller original content creators because the platforms would now be directly liable for that content. Article 13 is just one part of a sweeping set of copyright rules and proponents claim will help fight against the theft and reuse of videos and music. Another controversial part of the rules is Article 11, which will create a link tax. What?
What the fuck is that? Wait, what?
Link tax?
Yeah,
link
that's the worst
So
part
you-
about it. It
tell
forces you to pay money in order to link sources. So basically,
Oh my gosh.
So you telling me
Puta
that?
la chingada.
So you're telling me that every time that Teal Deer provides a citation, he is going to get taxed out the wazoo for that?
correct.
Oh,
That's
Jesus.
bullshit.
You know, somebody. You know how basically citation needed has become a meme that Teal Deer has made. You're gonna have to add something to that meme. So like, citation needed. Then another person comes in and responds, "I can't, or else I'll be taxed."
Eventually, the Europeans are just going to be like, you know, we're just going to leave the Europe to the Muslims and get the hell out to go to like America somewhere.
Ham in the chat says secular 2 nukes ain't enough hawk.
You want to say something, loudmouth?
Huh?
I thought I heard you wanted to say something after I said about Teal Deer.
I said, well, when you said can't because it'll be taxed. Well, Teal Deer will be able to say, hey, I'd like to provide a citation, but I have kids to feed.
Oh boy.
I like that.
Does he even?
I'd like my kids not to die
No, he
tonight.
doesn't have any kids. That was just a general.
Yeah. Hey, Ham, you're
He's actually a MGTOW, from what I hear.
He is.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Glad we got a Bill of Rights. Maybe we should also have an Internet Bill of Rights to also protect our rights online. Internet is not a right, Ham.
Internet
It
is
is
not a
not.
right. It is not a right. It's not a violation of free speech or you being censored if they delete your channel for any reason. You can ask for it to be undone, but it's not a violation of your free speech or whatever. It is purely a privilege, not a right to have a YouTube channel.
Exactly.
It would be a violation of private property rights if the government was to come in and dictate that, hey, you must allow this person on your platform. In the same way that, shut up, Aspie, stop doing raspberries. In the same way that the government comes in and forces a town hall to allow somebody to speak on the stage, you know.
Aspie, stop doing those raspberries with Actually, I was gonna make a joke about that, but that's a little filthy for the stream.
It quickly becoming is. You might want to reframe your grammar there, Ham,
Did
You
Ham
filthy motherfucker.
because that was autistic spelling there.
Ham, were you born because of an abortion? Because your fucking grammar is retarded. Jesus. God damn it.
And we just got off of the issue of abortion too.
I saw that. That was an abortion of the live chat was an abortion of itself with Ham using the word dark econ repeatedly.
Seriously, I swear Ham's a failed abortion gone wrong.
I think
Oh,
I'm going to change my Twitter name to Darkwing Cuck now next.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm just going to go down the litany of nicknames that was given to me.
Dark cucks or vaginalitarian may be too long.
I don't know, maybe. Anyway,
Dark
which will create a link tax, that's where we left off at, and mean that sites like Google could have to pay to show a snippet of the websites they link out to. Wow. EU lawmakers have voted through the new rules, and their wording could be finalized by the end of the year. The directive is expected to go into force soon after that. End of article. Finally, holy crap.
Article 13 and Article 11, those two bills are absolute abominations. They
Also,
destroy the internet for half of the free world, basically.
yeah, honestly, Darkon has not provided any links in the description yet, so the taxes, if he lived in the UK, wouldn't affect him just yet, guys.
Right.
But
I lived there, but I don't.
No, do you have a license for that blog?
Do you have a license for that mixtape?
Yes, that was what I said to him.
Do you have a license for that porn?
Is this your
To
Trashing
respond,
America on Twitter? Hold on.
Yeah.
I told him, you have a license for that Twitter account?
I remember Sargon was talking about how certain types of music weren't allowed in the UK, and he says in his British accent, "What's next? Do you got a license for that mixtape?" Me and Progressive Voice agreed that was a fucking hilarious line. That was like one of the few things I can agree with the Asian Pillsbury Doughboy on.
Cold of Ham says, let's see, violate private property rights of mega corporations or allow the free speech rights of individuals be violated by mega corporations. That's a wrong framing of the question there, Ham, because you do not have free speech in somebody's house on somebody's private property. You have a privilege that the owner of that private property gives to you. You have a privilege to espouse your speech in their private property.
I mean,
Exactly.
Ham doesn't believe in private property rights to begin with, so this isn't really a surprise, is it?
Wait a minute. Let me play devil's advocate here. So when you say that because that the government should not have a Bill of Rights because it would be a violation of the private property rights of these social media networks and corporations. However, let's think about this for a second. A lot of these corporations take a lot of subsidies from state and federal governments. So technically, wouldn't that make it technically a federal bureaucracy that would be subject to tighter control?
Okay, I would say that is a legitimate argument, but rather than actually taking more control of the private internet websites, instead stop giving them subsidies. Stop giving them those subsidies in the first place.
Stop giving them bailouts. Stop giving them subsidies. Stop protecting them. Period. If they fail on their own, they fell on their own. Also, Ham says, "LOL, that's such a lie, S-man." I'm sorry, Ham, but whenever we approach any subject, you automatically reject. Whenever private property rights are mentioned, you seem to default to automatically rejecting it. So, is it really a lie? Also, also whatever the government can give you, they can take away. I hope people can realize that. They could give you your precious Internet Bill of Rights, but they can take it away at any time. So let's say a Democratic administration gives you this Internet Bill of Rights.
All right. Also, I don't want to be paying too much attention on Ham, and I want to
he is a lolcow, but yeah, any time, then the next administration could take it away. So, which I would be backing that administration then.
4 more articles here, but yeah, I mean, this is probably one of the biggest reasons as to why that. Cold of Ham is not a co-host, is because we would get drawn out into this long, lengthy debate instead of actually reading the freaking articles. It's my biggest thing. Property rights of individuals, I believe in, not for corporations. Those corporations are owned by individuals is a thing. But I'm sorry. I let myself get distracted. Anyways. So this from CNSnews.com. This is going to be more. Crusader left. So hopefully he can join back because this is more like social, culture war kind of related stuff. But I still came across.
Oh, Jesus.
Read it. Women's March founder asks leaders to step down for refusing to distance themselves from groups espousing hateful beliefs, supposedly. So I wonder what those supposed hateful beliefs are.
It's Linda Sarsour's basically flagrant anti-Semitism, basically.
On Monday, Women's March founder Teresa Shook called on several leaders of the Women's March to step down, following their refusal to distance themselves from anti-Semitism and other forms of bigotry. In a Facebook post, Shook accused Women's March board members Linda Sarsour, Tamika Mallory, Bob Bland, and Carmen Perez of refusing to separate themselves from groups that promote hateful rhetoric. Okay, so I guess, I wouldn't be surprised if it, especially since Loudmouth says it. Anyway, done trolling your chat. Laters. Bye, Ham.
See you later, cuck pig.
Good riddance.
Jesus, Darkon, don't choke on that dick.
No, it's me choking on my microphone.
I didn't know it was attached to someone else's body.
No, but it's never mind. It has been accused of being a dildo, though. So
Wait, what?
I don't know. I think there might have been 1 or 2 times when somebody was all like, "Your microphone is a dildo" or something like that.
Your microphone is
It was probably ham, y'all.
Oh god. Okay, shut up. Anyway, in opposition to our unity principles, they have allowed anti-Semitism, anti-LGBTQ. Oh god, I'm just gonna say LGBT sentiment and
QAIPWHMI.
don't need to go through the entire alphabet.
QRSTUVWXY and Z plus 20 million genders.
Oh no! Now you're saying that bisexuals aren't real, S-Man.
Bisexual.
That will never not be a joke.
That
Here's
will,
the thing,
fuck yeah.
joke will never get old.
I was watching last night. I actually went to go see a Bohemian Rhapsody with my mom and my sister, and I have to tell you, I think there's one part of the movie where after his wife finds out, Freddie Mercury's fiance finds out that he was sleeping with men, that he goes to her and says, "Listen, I'm bisexual," and she goes, "No, you're gay." If you're, yeah.
Oh God.
So technically, if you're I remember a joke by Carlos Mencia where he says, "If you're bisexual, you're gay." It's
Oh Jesus.
nobody finds that funny.
Well,
right?
we could just sum up the entire LGBT community as just the gay community, but then the TERFs would probably have a big issue with that.
Oh my God. DarkCon is daring to erase the existence of LGBTQRSTUVWXY and Z.
What would just call it? Let's just call it the not normal community.
What
Okay.
the fuck?
I'm
The
joking.
incredible Aspie is daring to be a fascist like the dog
the deviant community.
In
Oh
all,
God.
Normalcy is overrated, to be honest.
I'm joking.
in all seriousness, reality though, it is out of the norm to be trans, bi, or whatever else have you, because it still to this day is the norm to be, heterosexual.
Yes, it is
The
outside
supermajority.
the norm. So what? What's wrong with being outside the norm? You know?
Yeah,
Damn right,
there's-
motherfucker.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
Because
I'm honest. That's outside the norm.
So when Aspie says call it the not normal community, let's just add the caveat that it's not immoral or bad to be not normal. Everybody,
I was
okay?
just joking.
Well,
I was really
ham is
just
the
joking, but-
exception.
Except for ham, yes, it's bad to be cult of ham.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're a cult of ham, you have to question where you went wrong. Maybe that's in the exact beginning.
Maybe
I hope I never become famous.
maybe I should rename this stream to Ham versus the
Oh,
World.
you're already
That.
famous.
I just want to say something. I there's a chance.
You've been on the
I ever
Kumite.
get, I probably.
And
won't how did I become? I'm not famous from the Kumite. I'm only a couple.
Been on the Kumite, that makes you famous.
Anyway.
The fact that I was on the Kumite for 2 seconds does not make me famous. Okay, they forgot about me right afterwards.
Who are you again?
Exactly.
What is the incredible Aspie? I've never heard of this.
Yeah. What is this guy you invited on our stream?
Okay.
DarkCon, I think I should kick him now. Okay.
No.
No. I will kick you in turn. Anyway.
Hey, I
Can we
had
get on-
surgery on my shin.
Motherfuckers, can we get on with the...
Fuck off.
Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep.
Oh god.
What the fuck?
This man left.
Oh god, they both left at the same time. Anyway, okay, I'm going to restart the entire paragraph. In opposition to our unity principles, they have allowed anti-Semitism, anti-LGBT sentiment, and hateful racist rhetoric to become a part of the platform by their refusal to separate themselves from groups that espouse these racist, hateful beliefs, Shook wrote. I call for the current co-chairs to step down and let others lead who can restore faith in the movement and its original intent, she added. The mission of the Women's March, which started in 2017 after the inauguration of President Donald Trump, is to harness the political power of diverse women and their communities to create transformative social change. Oh, excuse me. Had a bit of gas there. Its unity principles, as stated on its website, include ending violence, include ending violence, reproductive rights. Okay, I mean that's ending a little bit
violence and reproductive rights. Okay,
ending reproductive rights. Yeah, I mean that's some sloppy wording right there. I mean, you use the word, you use the word ending right before this list of things that you supposedly stand for or do stand for. That almost implies that you're for ending all of these when you, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I stand against rights.
Yes. Okay, but the meaning ending violence, what they're meaning, I think, is ending violence, standing for reproductive rights, LGBT rights, workers' rights, civil rights, disability rights, immigrant rights, and environmental justice. Red Feather has given a name for Linda Sarsour-Pants. Okay. Anyway, Sarsour, Perez, and Mallory have all been linked to Louis Farrakhan, leader of the Nation of Islam, who has a history of anti-Semitism. In a recent speech, he compared Jews to termites. Damn.
Yep, he did.
He says, "I'm not anti-Semite. I'm anti-termite." Yeah.
Oh man, that's catchy but fucked up at the same time. Mallory was harshly criticized.
I gotta go. I gotta work on a report, so sorry.
All right, that's fine.
All right, see ya.
Sorry that we couldn't read your fucked up website, and thanks for nothing, motherfucker.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, see you guys.
Bye. And then there were two. All right. So, Mallory was harshly criticized for her presence at a February 28th speech in which Farrakhan made a series of anti-Semitic remarks such as, "The powerful Jews are my enemy," and Farrakhan has pulled the cover off the eyes of that satanic Jew. Sarsour has also made several controversial remarks about Israel. In an interview with The Nation, Sarsour said feminism and support for the state of Israel were incompatible. According to the Daily Wire, she has also downplayed anti-Semitism and called Zionism creepy. Shook is not the first person to notice anti-Semitism within the highest ranks of the Women's March. On November 8th, the Friedrich Ebert Foundation, FES, a German think tank, withdrew a human rights award that it had planned to give the Women's March on November 12th after FES alumni wrote an open letter condemning the march's anti-Semitism. An organization that may support feminism but discriminates against Jews and Zionists and denies Israel's right to exist should not be honored by a democratic foundation that advocates diversity and speaks out against discrimination, the group wrote. Zionism is creepy, Sleepy Projections asks. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I mean, especially to like the New World Order conspiracy theorists, etc. Celebrities have also condemned the march, including left-wing actress and activist Elisa Milano. In an interview, Milano said she was disappointed in the leadership of the Women's March and would not speak at the 2019 march if Sarsour or Mallory were leading it. Anytime that there is any bigotry or anti-Semitism in that respect, it needs to be called out and addressed, Milano said. Actress Deborah Messing agreed in a November 8th tweet, "I stand with you," she wrote, tagging Milano. End of article. All right. So, yeah, I mean, considering that it is Sarsour, I can comfortably say that it probably is hateful beliefs that the leaders are espousing, you know? All right. So we are going from social issues to talking about government corruption, as here is an article from the Washington Examiner talking about Trey Gowdy's comments towards James Comey. Trey Gowdy, James Comey is right about leaks. I got to ask you, Loudmouth, what do you think of Trey Gowdy?
I don't know much about him.
Well, if you was to like watch any YouTube video about the guy, you can tell that this guy, he makes congressional hearings entertaining. Real entertaining. Okay. So House Oversight Committee Chairman Trey Gowdy said Sunday he agrees with former FBI Director James Comey about leaks. Comey says he will resist a subpoena to appear for a closed-door deposition with a joint congressional task force for fear of Republicans selectively leaking his testimony to the public. Okay. So Trey Gowdy is... wait. Comey says he will resist a subpoena to appear for a closed-door deposition with the Joint Congressional Task Force for fear of Republicans selectively leaking his testimony to the public. Okay, I read that wrong for a second there. During an interview on CBS's Face the Nation, Gowdy, Republican of South Carolina, said he sympathizes with Comey, but doesn't believe a public hearing is the right answer. I don't get a chance to say this very often, but I do think Jim Comey is right, Gowdy said. Redfeather says, yeah, Comey knows all about the leaks. Leaks are counterproductive, whether Jim Comey is doing it, whether FBI is doing it, or whether the Congress is doing it. I don't want that video to be played. No, thank you. The remedy for leaks is not to have a public hearing where you are supposed to ask 17 months of work in 5 minutes, he added, referring to 5-minute increments each lawmaker would likely have to ask questions. Instead, Gowdy recommended recording the deposition on video so the public would have the opportunity to see full questions and answers without the spectacle a live public event would bring. Yeah, I mean, that probably... I mean, if you aren't going to have it in public, at least have it that way, where it'll be recorded. If you don't want it live, at least have it recorded so that we have it on record. And that way, if things are taken out of context, people can, like, notice the edits in the clip, and they can, like, pressure the government, hey, we want to see the full video, or whatever else have you. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Bob Goodlatte, Republican Virginia, issued subpoenas last week to Comey and former Attorney General Loretta Lynch to come before the House Judiciary and Oversight Committees for private depositions in December as part of their joint investigation into decisions made by the Justice Department in 2016. In a Thanksgiving tweet, Comey said he would only agree to public testimony. Wait. In a Thanksgiving tweet. Okay, so apparently Comey cannot make up his mind because there was another article like last episode of Strike Force I read where he was refusing to want to go. Well, actually, no. Never mind. I'm getting it mixed up. In that last article, he was wanting a private hearing. It's like, no. He did want it public. My bad. Happy Thanksgiving, Comey tweeted Thursday. Got a subpoena from House Republicans. I'm still happy to sit in the light and answer all questions, but I will resist a closed-door thing because I've seen enough of their selective leaking and distortion. Let's have a hearing and invite everyone to see. Gowdy emphasized that it will be up to Goodlatte to decide how Comey would testify. Both Gowdy and Goodlatte are retiring at the end of their current terms. Well, soon farewell to you, Trey Gowdy. You have been an entertaining congressman. Anyway. I mean, what do you think, Laudmouth? Do you think that the interviews and hearings of Gowdy the hearings of Comey should be taking place publicly or privately?
Publicly.
All right.
Want to hear what he has to say? And I love seeing Trump throw a tantrum about it on Twitter like a 2-year-old.
Yeah. There was like in the last episode of Strike Force, he people were saying excuse me. People were saying that the reason why not to do it publicly is because James Comey can then just constantly plead the fifth and say that a whole bunch of the information that people are asking related to the questions that they're asking, would be confidential, and therefore he cannot answer the questions. And so therefore, to get like a thorough investigation, they want it in private. But I don't know. We'll have to see what happens.
Correct.
All right. So Alan Dershowitz, Mueller's final report is going to be devastating for Trump. And now I think, I'm not for absolute certain, but I think this might be in relation to like Russian collusion bullcrap or just other related corruption. So let's just see. Harvard Law School professor Emeritus Alan Dershowitz predicted on Sunday that special counsel Robert Mueller's final report for the federal Russia investigation, okay, so yeah, it is Russia collusion related, will be calamitous for President Trump. Calamitous, I think is what the word is. Oh, sorry. Still haven't recovered from my workout yesterday morning. I pushed myself to run the entire way to the YMCA, which is like a block away from my apartment. So.
I still kind of think you should be focusing more on lifting weights than cardio, dude.
Right. I mean, I run to the YMCA to like kind of
focus on cardio because I've become a fat ass lately.
I run to the YMCA mostly to try and build up my own endurance and stamina for running. And then when I get to the YMCA, that's when I get on the weights.
Well, but then you burned out all your energy running.
Well, there is that point. I mean,
so then you won't have much energy to lift the weight, so you defeated the purpose.
Not necessarily.
No, you got to take a big energy drink. All right, drive to the gym, and then just lift till your arms ache. That's what you need to do. And then stuff your face full of protein.
Right. Steaks, eggs,
protein shakes, protein bars. Simple. If it's got protein, you shove it down your gullet.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to like recover my finances from the vacation I recently took. Did I ever tell you that I?
Expensive.
Well, still. Did I ever tell you that during my vacation I actually ran over a median?
What?
I ran over a median. I like banged up 3 wheels on my car, so therefore I had to like, while on vacation, buy 2 completely new wheels and have to use like the spare for like the forward part of the car. So it was kind of expensive. That
sucks.
$85 per wheel. So it was all the trip itself.
That's actually pretty cheap for a wheel. Those usually cost over 100.
I guess, but the vacation itself was still fairly expensive, and it wasn't no small vacation. Like I have myself a rather big family, and I was hoping to pay not only my own way, but also hoping to pay the way of my own direct family as well. Anyway. I think the report is going to be devastating to the president. All right. And what I know of Alan Dershowitz's reputation is that he's considered like a source of authority for many people on the right, like Mark Levin, for example. This is me just going off of rough information, but yeah. So what I know as far. I think the report is going to be devastating to the president. I know the president's team is already working on a response to the report. Dershowitz said on ABC News this week, at some point when the report's made public, and that's a very hard question considering the new attorney general who has the authority to decide when and under what circumstance to make it public, it will be made public probably with a response alongside. But Dershowitz, who has been critical of Mueller's probe, clarified that he did not think the special counsel's conclusion after the more than year-long Russia inquiry would lead to criminal repercussions for Trump. When I say devastating, I mean it's going to paint a picture that's going to be politically very devastating. All right, so thank you for clarifying on that point, sir. I still don't think it's going to make a criminal case because collusion is not criminal. I mean, yeah, I mean, technically, what kind of collusion would you be talking about? I mean, if you're talking about, like, Russia giving...
That would depend on what kind of collusion it was, whether collusion was criminal or not.
Like, for example, if there was money given directly from the Russian government to the Trump campaign, that would be
criminal.
There's actually campaign donations given by people in Australia to Bernie Sanders during the 2016 election. I had read an article on that a few months ago. But yeah, I mean, stuff like that. Russia giving money to the Trump campaign or Russia actually hacking the results of the 2016 election itself, which, by the way, there is like scant to no evidence found for that even. What I think Mueller is going to do if he's smart is he's not going to take the chance on being rebutted. He's just going to lay out just the facts. Acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker has come under fire for comments he made in the past undermining the Mueller investigation, sparking concerns regarding how he will handle the special counsel and his eventual report. Trump last week submitted written responses to questions posed to him by Mueller's office, indicating the special counsel's probe may be in its final stages. End of article. All right, so here is the last article of the day. This is actually a fairly old article, about 25 days old, October 30th, 2018. Mueller refers plot to make false claims about him to FBI. Now, this is interesting. I'm trying to, I don't believe that the certain members of the FBI, when it comes to this whole Russia collusion thing, I don't believe Hillary Clinton or anything like that. But if there's false claims being made about the FBI, well, let's read it for the sake of objectivity. Wait, what? Is that really all? Dang, short article. I guess something I should know about AP is that their articles are not very lengthy. Associated Press. Okay, Washington AP. Robert Mueller's office has referred to the FBI allegations that women were offered money to make false claims about the special counsel, according to Mueller's spokesman. In a statement, spokesman Peter Carr says that once the office learned of the allegations, it immediately referred the matter to the FBI for investigation. Okay, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about the allegations made towards Kavanaugh? Are we talking about Russia collusion here specifically, or I don't know? I've only referred to the Mueller investigations be referred to Russia collusion, but
yeah, that's what Mueller's investigation is about.
Okay. Well, in that case, I do not know what they would be talking about here with women making false allegations, because if this was tied more into Kavanaugh, well, then I would see women making false allegations, how that would more tie in, because there were actually women making false allegations toward him, like Swesnick and Ford.
I will say that whoever Trump nominates for his next pick to the Supreme Court certainly raped me 20 years ago.
Certainly what?
Certainly raped me 20 years ago.
Anyway,
oh, yeah, definitely.
In a statement, spokesman Peter Carr says that once the office learned of the allegations, it immediately referred the matter to the FBI for investigation. The statement didn't specify what the claims were, but the referral to the FBI and a rare public statement about it from the special counsel's office suggests that Mueller's office believed there was a potential crime for federal law enforcement to investigate. The attempt to spread what Mueller's office says are false claims about him also appears to be an effort to discredit the former FBI director as his team enters a critical stage of its investigation into whether the Trump campaign coordinated with Russia and whether the president attempted to obstruct justice. Mueller's office has charged 32 people so far, with 4 former associates of the president pleading guilty and agreeing to cooperate with investigators. The grand jury in recent weeks has heard testimony centered on another former Trump aide, Roger Stone. End of article. Well, I also have to say that as far as Russia collusion goes, what I'm mainly concerned about is the direct Russian collusion of Trump himself, President Trump himself and the Trump campaign, not these people that he chooses for his cabinet. I mean, Roger Stone is responsible for Roger Stone. Trump is not responsible for Roger Stone, I say.
Correct.
All right. And so that's all that I have as far as news articles go. Tomorrow I'll be doing an interview with Mueller, man, for the first time, finally. I mean, we've been floating about the idea of having a live stream with him for quite a while. I mean, ever since December and November of last year, there was the idea of me having a debate against him, moderated by S-Man Speaks. But that never came to fruition because Mueller, man, went on his hiatus. But hopefully we can things will still go as planned, and we can have like a one-on-one interview tomorrow. Me and him, I mean. But yeah. So Loudmouth, what's up with you? Anything new or anything exciting to say?
No, definitely not. Been depressed.
Oh damn. Oh, sorry to hear that, guy. I mean, I guess that's one of the reasons as to why I like the idea of having you as a co-host is not only because you're witty and you have a lot of information to bring out and articulate opinions, but also to like help get your mind off somewhat of your own depressed state, I guess. I mean, does it help at all that I bring you on these streams?
Well, I wouldn't come if it didn't if I didn't enjoy it. No one's putting a gun to my head and make me come on. You know?
Well, no, I mean, I don't mean to make you or any of the other co-hosts feel obligated at all to have to come on. But
I enjoy it.
I'm glad that you do enjoy it. But it helps. But it does help to alleviate some of your depression.
Yeah, there's a funny meme I'm seeing here that has a Rocky Balboa at the end of the movie, where he's just got out of the fight, but he's holding up a plasma TV on Black Friday.
I actually saw that last year, I think.
Yeah, that's a going. The Onion did a joke where they said this 42 million dead and is Black Friday yet.
Red Feather asked, what about Hillary and Mueller's involvement with the Russians? Honestly, over the years, I've been learning to give less and less of a crap about Hillary's own, I don't know, I guess I should not give less and less of a crap about Hillary's corruption, but just naturally, I've been giving less and less of a crap about that, including Benghazi. What?
She's totally irrelevant at this point.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully she doesn't run again.
I mean, it would be extremely stupid if she did.
Yeah. And Red Feather also says that she hopes that you feel better, Loudmouth.
Thanks, Red Feather.
Anyway, by the way, speaking of Rocky Balboa, what do you think of the fact that they're making like a sequel to Creed and just kind of extending out the Rocky Balboa franchise?
I like the first Creed. Haven't seen the second.
The second one, what?
Thought Creed was really good.
Yeah, I mean, not many people like the fourth one. I mean, I like the fourth one. The fifth one I thought was pretty freaking boring and awkward, honestly. I haven't seen the sixth one. The first Creed...
Sixth one's actually good. It's definitely the best since at least the second one.
Right. And then Creed, I mean, I haven't watched it myself, but I have only heard that it's pretty much objectively good. Like, it's a nice recovery from the later episodes of
I mean, with Rocky IV, though, you got to admit the movie was kind of absurd in spots, like having that robot, for example.
Yeah, it was pretty goofy, but...
It was a Nostalgia Critic even did a good joke who said, this is like making Godfather Part 4 and having a talking giraffe.
Jeez. Yeah,
it's kind of true. That is absurd.
It was pretty cheesy, but I guess I cannot help but like movies that have a certain token robot that, I don't know.
Well, the Rocky movies are supposed to be like set in the real world, in a realistic universe, not some kind of science fiction story. Come on.
Right. I mean, it did not bother me that much. I still have to say that I just overall liked the action of Rocky IV. That was what really more did it for me, was the final fight, especially.
He dies.
But, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ivan Drago saying, I hope he dies.
If he dies, he dies.
I must break you.
You will lose. I will break you. Yeah.
And then the second Creed, as far as what I've seen from the trailers, it's Ivan Drago's son versus Creed.
Oh, nice. the son of the man that killed his father.
Oh yeah. So there is blood.
Yes, there's a serious rivalry there.
I mean, the fact that they had a teacher in the fourth one that nobody could get invested in for Rocky. I mean, everybody liked Creed. Everybody liked Mickey, but nobody gave a crap about Apollo Creed's own, trainer coming to try and fill in the role for Rocky since both Creed and Mickey were dead. I mean, that was kind of a disappointment. The robot was pretty cheesy, but it was the action and plus the blood rage rivalry between Ivan Drago and Rocky Balboa that kind of hit the spot because, Rocky was more or less looking to get even without actually killing Ivan, like just humiliate him basically after seeing his own friend die by his hands.
Right. And there was always that element of guilt because he didn't throw in the towel that he was responsible.
Right. And the fifth one, what do you think of the fifth one? I personally found it boring.
It's definitely the weakest of the Rocky movies.
I see.
Definitely. The reason why Stallone did a sixth movie 16 years later was because he didn't want that to be the last Rocky movie. He really wanted to give it a proper finale. Because Stallone was unsatisfied with the movie.
And yet we're still carrying on with the Rocky franchise, but instead these last two.
It is in terms of it completes Rocky Balboa's story, but the Creed movies aren't really Rocky Balboa's story. They're Adonis Creed's story. Rocky's a secondary character.
Yeah, but still kind of takes place in the same world,
Well, yeah, it's in the same universe, and of course Stallone's there and all, but it's not really his movie.
Yeah, I get your point there on that front. Sleepy Projections also hopes that you get feeling well. And Red Feather asks, who is going to watch the Bohemian Rhapsody movie? I have yet to see that movie.
I haven't seen that movie either. All right, Sleepy Projections. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Subscribe to my channel and get a million other people to do so. That'd make me feel a lot better. Let's see.
Yeah, maybe like 2,000 more people to give at least $1 patronage to you per person so that would sustain the bills and like just lift up a whole bunch of time for you so that you can like work more on movie reviews and then.
Oh yeah, I really wish I'd go full time and not have to work a full-time job. I don't think that's ever going to happen.
My hope is to at least make some side cash with this channel. Like when I get to when and if I get to 1,000
I mean, I make side cash on my channel now, but it ain't enough to pay all the bills, not even close.
Right. I mean, I guess one of the reasons as to why I kind of hope more or less to like make some side cash is so that people don't feel as apathetic and dismissive about my hobby.
I mean, I've been kind of depressed that my Gargoyles videos have been cratering in the views. No one really, most of my subs don't seem to be interested in them. And I guess probably a lot of my subs weren't even born yet when that show premiered. So I get why it's not really like the latest hot topic for views, but it was just something. It was something that I was passionate about. It was one of my favorite shows. So it was just kind of something I wanted to do.
My debate, the debates that I'm moderating are doing fairly successful in ratings and views.
Are they?
Yeah, especially the one debate that I did, but that I moderated between two plebs talking news and the effeminate degenerate, and then the recent one that I did like Friday between Ren Michaelis and another guy named Tizzy that I only just got acquainted to.
I've never had any debates done on my channel.
None moderated, or none in general.
None in general. I've had a few hangout streams, but no debates.
So nobody on those streams like butted heads with you or whatever?
Sometimes they did, but it wasn't really like a formal debate, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Wondering if that would be good. If I could turn loudmouth reviews into a blood sports channel, then I'd be like the next Kumite. That would be something.
Well, I don't try to let my debates get full out of hand to where that they're just full on blood sports. I try to keep them moderated so that they don't end up insulting each other. And if they do, they get penalized. But
Yeah,
maybe
I'm not really a fan of like internet blood sports either. I wanted to do just kind of my reviews.
maybe you can like moderate a debate between V versus Teal Deer or something. I don't know.
Teal Deer doesn't do online. He never does like public live streams. He doesn't do that.
Right.
Nor does he ever appear. Well, actually, no. He appears sometimes on Honey Badger's radio, but that's pretty much it.
All right.
You know, that's that men's rights blog. I guess it makes sense for Teal Deer because, like I said, Teal Deer is a MGTOW.
Sleepy Projections says that he's subbing to your channel. Well, on behalf of Loudmouth, I would like to thank you, Sleepy.
Oh, well, thanks. And watch my video on Idiocracy. It's probably my best video.
Right. I have to like just give it a rewatch just for the sake of, you know, rewatching one of the greats.
It's by far my most successful video. It's got like 160,000 views. It's like half my subs came from that video. If all my videos did as well as that video did, I wouldn't need to work a job.
Right.
But of course, most of them aren't even close.
Well, anyway, I think I'm going to like end the stream here pretty soon. I gotta get doing dishes, and then I have to like then I have plans later in the evening. But hey, thanks for joining Loudmouth and for like roasting Cold of Ham and giving your own articulated commentary on all these news articles.
No problem. Anytime.
All right. And to all of you watching, thank you for joining in the audience and adding your 2 cents in the chat as well. And giving the ratings and the views for this channel, for this particular stream. I'll keep up the news live streams, and I will soon enough get to back to edited response videos. But I am currently working on a fairly long project with Loudmouth here. That's what I'm trying to prioritize as far as editing goes, edited response videos. And I'll probably mirror that response video on my channel as soon as it's uploaded to your channel as well, Loudmouth. But yeah, and then after that, I'll get back to doing response videos to like Sahil, the progressive voice Habibi, and all the rest of that. But for right now, I'll see y'all later. This has been Strike Force News, and God bless.
God bless.